Hello, my name's Michael Keneally and this is a very important video and blog accompanying it about the huge meaning of Mars and Uranus transiting together, Mars conjunct Uranus in the heavens in January 2021. So the key thing is that Mars is closing on Uranus in the heavens all through January 2021. They're exactly conjunct on the 19th of January at 12 degrees Vedic Aries. What does this mean? What does this mean for you? It's strong revolution, particularly if you have planets in Vedic Aries or planets opposite in Vedic Libra. It's strong revolution for the life area that Vedic Aries is in your Vedic birth chart and that Vedic Libra is in your Vedic birth chart. Now, Mars has been in very difficult energies up to now because of a very complicated transit through Pisces, the sign of Mars debilitation. But now, in January 2021, Mars has entered, is transiting Vedic Aries, the sign he rules. So we all in this world will experience very strong Mars. How will we understand that? How will we manifest it? We must, of course, be aware of the negative manifestations such as temper, rage, impatience. And in fact, what we must perceive and understand and manifest is the divine warrior energy. Now, basically, at this time of Mars combining exactly with Uranus, it might well be that there is a new or fairly new project that you should embrace and progress, possibly shedding other areas of your life, but bringing spiritual awareness to the process and the decisions. Be aware that we could be racing too fast at things as Mars is transiting Aries. The first nakshatra of Aries is Ashwini, and Ashwini's, the healer's sign, can be too impatient and driven and jump in where they shouldn't. And also at this time of Mars conjuncting Uranus in the heavens, all of us need to also understand and focus on our natal Mars. Get a reading from me about this. What sign and house is Mars in? What houses in your chart does Mars rule? What planetary aspects affect Mars in your chart? These issues will all be highlighted in this month of January 2021 when Mars in the heavens conjuncts Uranus in the heavens. If, as is quite possible, you or I have been getting the Mars balance of energies wrongly, and that's quite possible because of the recent Mars transit in Pisces, which I talk about in my blog, then this is the time to face and understand and embody the divine Mars. I personally get so much out of vision work with gods and goddesses as faces of the ultimate divine. I think it's wonderful to do vision work and indeed to embody, even arise and become deities. I first learned this stuff during the 5-year social anthropology field study I did from 1998. First encountered it in Tibetan Buddhism in that field study, and basically there making vision connections with the wonderful gods and goddesses of Tibetan Buddhism. And then not only that, but going beyond that and even arising as deity and becoming deity. And I deeply remember, for example, doing vision work with Avalokiteshvara, the god of universal compassion, and then arising as Avalokiteshvara, the god of compassion, and heading out into the streets of Bristol, not as me, but as Avalokiteshvara, and seeing and connecting to buildings and people as Avalokiteshvara. But we can do this with all gods, and of course we can make contact with nature spirits as well. It's so sad that in this culture the clinical psychology lot and so forth have tried to cut us off from this deeply ancient ability of humankind. And I so like David Frawley's book, The Astrology of the Seers, which has a brief but powerful section on each of the Vedic planets as faces of the divine, as gods. So what we will be called in January, when Mars conjuncts Uranus in the heavens, and the issues of our own Mars, as expressed by our own birth charts, will be activated, is that Mars is the planet of our power, our strength, our courage and our aggression, our ability to project force into life. With a weak Mars, we lack determination and accomplishment. And remember, we are born here in this life to, yes, burn our negative karmas and to understand the weak or unfortunate parts of our egoic personality, but also to maximize our special talents that we bring through from past life. And we can't do that necessarily if we've got a weak Mars. We're here to bring spiritual consciousness to what we see of our everyday egoic personality, and so as to understand it, heal it and go beyond it. And one of the things we'll definitely be called to do in January is examine our Mars and work with Mars conjunct Uranus in the heavens. And you see, negatively, Mars is war, militarism, violence, over-assertion of your will, arguments. Mars is the indicator for our arms, our muscles and our strength, for a man's sexual strength. Mars is logical and technical and mechanical. Oh my goodness, one of the things I've got to do indeed in this month is electrical second fix of an Airbnb extension. Whew. So, the divine nature of Mars is self-discipline, accomplishment and the overcoming of challenges. And it does include ritual and occult achievements as well. See the divine Mars, become the divine Mars. Now, in the blog post accompanying this video, I list the details and dates of how Mars was in a horrible state up to now because Mars was transiting in Vedic Pisces, the sign of his debilitation. And I'm mentioning this and listing it in the blog so that we won't be dragged down, as it were, by the messy negative expressions of Mars, so that we can go on to make a clean slate in a way, but of course bringing a lot of insight from the Mars in Pisces transit experience, so that we can embrace our true face of the divine Mars. But it's so important to realise that now Mars is transiting Aries. This is a totally different energy. Mars in Aries is the warrior, and remember, warriors can do very negative things as well as be the spiritual warrior. And exact on the 19th of January, Mars meets Uranus in the heavens at 12 degrees Vedic Virgo. Uranus is on station at this time. He's been retrograding, he's stationed, he's about to go forward. And remember, when a planet is stationary, it's super powerful. The slower a planet's velocity in the heavens, the deeper he carves his power. So Mars meets a super powerful Uranus, the harbinger of revolution, and that will manifest in the house in your birth chart that is Aries, the house opposite, the area of life, that's what the houses are. The area of life opposite that is Libra in your birth chart. Get a reading from me about this. And so we need at this time, I feel anyway, to visualize the divine Mars, to dialogue, to stand embodied before the divine Mars and dialogue with the divine Mars in vision meeting. How well and badly we are doing with Mars energies. And the same with Uranus. I do 2 pieces of vision work a week and it helps me so much. I feel wonderful after meeting deities, particularly embodying fully as one stands before them and meets them in vision, and indeed arising as deity, as I mentioned. And you also need to understand and meet Uranus, and particularly your own natal Uranus. Uranus in your birth chart is so huge. Do you really understand the meaning of Uranus in Gemini, Uranus in the 12th house, or whatever it is you have? Because that will super big time affect the way Uranus is manifesting as he transits Aries and as he conjuncts Mars exactly this month. And absolutely do be aware that at the same very time as the Mars-Uranus conjunction, the super huge Pluto-Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is all happening in Vedic Capricorn. And so it magnifies immensely the power and importance and the necessity of connecting with, understanding and manifesting the Mars-Uranus conjunction. I want to mention very briefly about Uranus in Aries. Uranus in Aries. You see, Uranus is transiting Aries now. The last time Uranus was transiting Aries, what happened? Hitler burned down the Reichstag. Hitler brought in the Second World War. A huge thing to do. What a karma. What an effect on millions. Okay, we've got Uranus in Aries now, and we saw quite horrible social divisions in the USA that need to be healed. Indeed, at this time of the United States Pluto return, which I am describing in another of the add-on videos to my January newsletter. So, the big thing is, understand your Mars now, understand your Uranus now. It's made super big because of the Pluto-Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that you need to understand. Identify your potentially very big revolution that needs to be identified and to happen now. This is the huge astrology of January 2021. You can go to my Star Wheel Astrology buy page and get a reading. Oh, and by the way, I've temporarily closed entry to my astrology courses listed on my Master Vedic Astrology website. This is because I've had such a huge rush of enrolments in the second half of 2020. But if you really, really want to do one of my courses, which, for example, there's my Foundation Vedic Astrology course, which offers crossover to Western psychodynamic and evolutionary astrology. If you really, really want to do one of the courses, email me and I'll try and tuck it in. but I'm having to call a halt generally because my courses are all individual. So yes, my courses are all individual tuition, and I'm up to the top on the time I can put aside for that. So I've temporarily closed entry. So have a wonderful, huge January 2021, and all blessings and success to you and happiness for the year of 2021. Thank you.